Welcome back to another edition of Fly Tying with Jim Misiura. Today I'm going to tie a Beadeye GSS Brassie. The hook that I have in the vise, this is a lively leg lip splitter. This is number 135, is a size 12. It is a barbless Scud shrimp hook. It is one extra strong, one extra short, and has an offset hook point. You can see there. Gives you a little more hooking range because the point isn't coming up straight underneath the barb or underneath the shank. The eye I'm going to use, this is just bead chain eye, and you could get these in a couple different sizes, but not a wide range of sizes. They don't make them very, very small, so you're kind of stuck with bigger hook sizes. The Brassie I'm going to use olive, and this is bead landing. You can get this in the craft section or the jewelry making sections of most stores. Wally World has them. You can get them from Michael's, any kind of craft store. But this particular one, it comes in 12 different colors in the package, and you pay maybe about $1 or maybe a little less than $1 per roll. And then of course I'm going to use the GSS olive, and we're going to start out. I'm going to use a thread color, doesn't really matter a whole lot, but I'm going to use this blue dun because it's a little heavier. This is actually 6/0 thread. I'm going to just start the thread behind the eye. Then I'm going to take one of the bead chain eyes, just little wire cutters, disconnects them. Put 5 wraps on one side, 5 wraps in the other direction. Kind of straighten them out there. I'm actually going to go a little bit heavy on this direction. Sometimes if they don't straighten out for you, you give it a couple extra wraps on that opposite direction, and they straighten right out. Now I'm going to put like 5 wraps under the beads and on top of the shank, and that's going to pull the thread, the previous wraps, that's going to pull them tight. And I'm going to just stop right in back of there, and I'm going to start putting in the tail. And the reason I stopped so far up is because I have a really long hackle for the tail. And this is a blue dun hackle. This is a dirty blue dun. And you could actually tie this to any color you'd like, any color combination you'd like. I'm going to gather the hackle tips together, pull them off, and I know I want that tail to be about maybe 1/2 to 3/4 the length of the hook shank. I'm going to take that and I hold it back there, so I'm going to trim that off. I'm actually going to hold it closer to the top and start wrapping that. There we go. Whoop. And just slide your fingers back, holding it on top as you're going. And we're going to come about halfway around. That tail is actually a little long, but that's alright. I'm going to bring my thread quickly back up front. I'm going to take my wire. I'm going to tie that in right from the top. I'm going to hold this wire right on top of the hook. You kind of don't want it rolling on you, half of it on one side, half of it on the other side. It kind of gives you a misshaped body if you do that. Not that it would really matter a whole lot, but it just looks better when you get it all uniform. We're going to take that all the way back. I'm actually going to turn my vise there a little bit, so I turn it to the side so I can see when I get to the end where I tied in where I stopped the tail. I'm going to put a couple extras there, because when I go to start wrapping this, it's going to bend, and if I don't have it secured real good, it's going to pull up. I'm going to go up and kind of level off that body. Actually, holding it sideways for me gives me a little better of an angle on it. And I can bring that up, about the width of the eyes away. We're going to take the wire, I'm going to fold it like that first, and that helps to start it. Then we're going to wrap this right there in place, and you want to touch the turns, touch the previous wrap, can actually hold your wire slightly to the rear and let it slide off the previous wrap and into place. You can hear me, that's my fingers rubbing on the wire, but this is pretty strong wire. And we want to leave a little space there. And we're going to go ahead and tie that down. Now when you go to helicopter it off, you have to have a nice tight grip on it. Now we're at the top. Now I'm going to take my GSS material and I'm going to dub my noodle. And I already made a couple, so I had some laying on the table. Whenever you use the GSS, if you're making GSS emergers or anything, always make sure that your table is clean right below your vise, because you're going to have some falling off. And the stuff that falls off, you use that on your next fly. We're going to go ahead and wrap this, go back on the wire a little bit. Bring it up. And I'm going to take, just like you would with the GSS emerger, so I'm going to put a little bit more dubbing on there. Always good to have wet fingers when you're trying to dub the GSS material. And check in the description for a location where you could get the GSS material. Okay, we got a pretty good amount there. Now I'm going to take a bunch just like the GSS emerger. We just grab a bunch of it, pop it off, take it. It's even got loops on the front, but we're going to tie that in right there. Grab that underneath and wrap that underneath. And I can bring my thread up to the front. I'm going to take my whip finish, give it about three wraps with the whip finish. Oh, I moved it. Go ahead and remove that. Now, just like the Beadhead GSS or the GSS emerger, just take it and break it off the length of the body. And now this here, you just drop it, and you can pick it up on your next fly for dubbing. You always want to break it. You don't want to cut it. Breaking it doesn't give you so much of a natural or so much of a 90-degree turn, 90-degree angles on there. And this fly obviously is gonna ride with the point up for the most part. When it's tumbling around, it's really not gonna matter. But when it gets down in the, it slows down, that point's gonna ride up and even help you prevent you from getting snagged so much. Take a little bit of head cement. Put some head cement right between the eyes. Remember that head cement will melt the GSS. And here we have a Beadeye GSS Brassie. Hope that you learned something from this video. Hope that you would subscribe to my channel. Please refer me to your friends. Please visit my sponsors. Leave comments, questions, suggestions, and most of all, thank you very much for watching my videos.